We are on the verge of our 2026 World Cup qualifying matches against Rwanda and Zimbabwe coming up in March. And of course, as you would expect, news has started filtering in about Eric Chelle's first Super Eagles squad. Today, we want to particularly focus on two foreign-born players who have now apparently, shown interest, and the NFF are working hard to get them to switch their allegiance to Nigeria ahead of these qualifiers. My name is Ayoti, and you are watching Niger FC Podcast Extra, of course, with my co-host.
Midlife. Thank you guys for joining.
Thank you very much for tuning in. On today's short episode, we want to focus on Lesley Ugochukwu of Southampton and Carney Chukwuemeka, now of Borussia Dortmund. These two young players have apparently been spotted by the NFF as potential solutions to some of the midfield problems that we have in the Super Eagles squad. And we're hearing that Eric Chelle has included them in his 31-man long list for the upcoming World Cup qualifying matches. Smidlai, I'll throw it to you immediately. Lesley Ugochukwu and Chukwuemeka, what can you tell the viewers about these two players?
I thank you once again for actually joining. Two guys are just 20 years of age, and they are trying to gain nationality at a very early age. So it's a big plus for them and also for the Nigerian national team. So Lesley Ugochukwu is closer to Nigeria, because his uncle played for Nigeria at the under-20 level and also at the AFCON. That is Onika Chapa. He's a current, I think he's doing his coaching course too, or working with the under-17 of Montpellier, of Reims in France. So a fantastic personality, humble to the core. So for me, Lesley Ugochukwu also, he played for Reims in his early, in the early years where his uncle played too. And fantastic personality too, very humble to the core. He was spotted playing for Reims and was described as a Nick Kamavinga, when he actually when he was in Reims. So, and because Chelsea doesn't want to miss out on the Nick Kamavinga, so they spotted him and actually was signed him for Chelsea. So it's been like, missed back slightly. Chelsea got loaned something, but he has been doing well. Don't be surprised that he might be part of Maresca's team, next season. So fantastic guy. And I saw him in Enugu about a few months back, relaxing with his top off, just wearing his sweatshirt, in Enugu State, and enjoying the beautiful sun in the southeast part of Nigeria. So to tell you that he already got Nigerian passport, and he's very close to home. So for me, fantastic guy that if he plays for Nigeria, he's Nigerian true and true, father, mother, Nigeria. So you can't take anything away from him. Nobody will say he's half Nigeria. He's a true Nigeria.
And let me just say something. Shout out to our friend OJB. OJB did some recruitment work with his father. When he had his awards in Paris, and spoke to his father and told him, your son must play for Nigeria. So this is something that if it does happen, it'll be a good one. We're getting a good young talent, that someone that can be a potential player for us for the next, 15 years even. I want to ask you though, in terms of style of play, what kind of style can we expect from Lesley Ugochukwu?
When you see a player playing as a defensive midfielder with that type of height, people remember, Patrick Vieira. Everybody that is that type of height and play defensive midfield is Patrick Vieira.
I think it's like 6'4" or something like that.
6'4". When Borussia came to national team with that height and defensive midfield, this is the new Patrick Vieira. Everybody that is tall, the defensive midfield is new Patrick Vieira. So you have to compare him. We can't say it's the new Claude Bakalere. If you look at the style of play too, was born in France, so he will be looking up to like Patrick Vieira's style of play too. So he's a good ball winner, and the way he wins the ball with his left foot, that is what makes him even exceptional for me. Because all these guys that play defensive midfield, most of them are right footers, but this guy can use his right and also his left. Where he wins his ball from this awkward position, that makes him very good. And another thing that is very good is that he's very strong in set pieces. He comes up, he's very strong in set pieces. His timing is run very well. He can just come and score from any, at any angle. He's a guy that can do that one. So if you're getting him at 20, you are getting a future Super Eagle player, and for me, he's a guy that can come and actually hit the ground running, very, very quickly.
For me, I think the things that I like really about Lesley Ugochukwu, watching him, this season in particular, playing for Southampton, he's strong indoors. You would expect him to be strong with the kind of size that he has, but he's actually strong indoors. And also, he has a decent tackling game. his tackling is not quite the level of like, oh, I remember when Ndidi was in his prime and nobody the tackle pass Ndidi. Ndidi was, serious, but he's still a good tackler and he's very strong in his doors. And those are things that I like, and I hope that he's able to translate into Nigeria when he does play. Okay, let's veer over quickly to Carney Chukwuemeka. This one is a boy that personally I'm a fan of. I like. The boy is a bag of talent. Unfortunately for him, he has found opportunities, few and far in between at Chelsea. But now that he has gone on loan to Dortmund, we're expecting to see him more this season. However, the games that he has played, you can see the quality that he has. You can see the talent. Unfortunately, again, at Chelsea, he cannot just bench Cole Palmer. But playing from that number 10 role, playing from that creative midfield role, he's a player that can pick a pass. He's a player that can finish, that can get a goal. I remember, was it last season, he scored some, late winners for Chelsea, had some very good games for them. This boy, do you think he can be a potential solution to this number 10 issue that we've been crying about in the Super Eagles for a long time? What do you think about Carney?
For me, I think the number 10 that we've been crying about for Super Eagles is that we're looking for a new DJ coach. And we have to calm down slightly down. That nobody can be JJ. So having a different type of number 10 that will do the job defensively for you and also create opportunities to also score goals for you, when it's time to score goals for you. What surprised me about this guy is that he's eligible to play for 3 countries. He can play for England, he can play for Austria, and also play for Nigeria. And Ralf Rangnick, the coach of Austria, sent like a letter to him that they should get him to play for Austria because he seems like a future guy to play for Austria. And in Austria, there's a rule in Austria that if you are taking their passports, you're not going to have any other nationality except this is their passports. So I think we have to look
at it. Which is a little bit of a crazy rule, but
yeah, it's a crazy rule, yeah. Looking at it, if you compare so look at, because if you're going to be having, I have to forgo Nigeria passport, I have to forgo the British passport and just focus on the Austrian passport. So looking at choosing Nigeria ahead of Austria, I think it's a very big, it's a good thing because one, honestly, Nigeria have the chance to win AFCON than Austria winning Euros. Let's be honest ourselves. Greece won the Euros years back. That won't happen one in a generation. That won't happen. So, for me, I think it's a big coup for Nigeria. We are getting a very good player, a player that will serve us for like 12 or 13 years, if he stays injury free, a player that, will help Nigeria, And, for me, it was between getting this guy from Empoli, what's it called? And Faustin Anjori. But I think as Eric Chelle is a very big fan of Chukwuemeka. And, straight away he included, he knew that midfield is a problem. And he included that one versus midfield and one attacking midfield. He realized that these guys need to have a balance in that team. And those two guys, I think of 20, can do well. And to say something, Eric Chelle said that he might not be making too much changes to the team in March and in the match, but there might be more changes in September. For him to be making changes like this in March, that means that there might be a clear out before September if we are not saying care is not taking. So for me,
I mean, I think there's also a window in June.
Yes, a window in June. Yes, he wants to try some new players in June too. So because it's not a competitive game.
Yeah,
so if we could be doing that now, that means that we're expecting like some players in that team. By the time we play against Rwanda and South Africa in September. So for me, it's a welcome development, and I'm really really happy that he's coming back home. Fantastic personality. A lot of clubs wanted him. AC Milan wanted him, but he went to Dortmund. And to back up the issue about Parma, they sold there's loan João Felix itself because of Parma. So who is now Chukwuemeka that we don't loan? You get it? So for me, I just think that Chukwuemeka is where he can actually thrive very well, and we're happy to have him.
Looking forward to seeing him. Let me ask you this question now. Some people are watching this might say, this is a little bit of a controversial question, but for them, at 20 years old, do you think it is a good decision for them to switch to Nigeria now? And the reason I'm asking is because we know that Nigeria, we don't have developmental football. Now, if you're not playing for Super Eagles, you're just sitting in your house every international break. So do you think it is a good thing for them to switch now? Do you see them being regulars in the national team, the men's Super Eagles national team already? Or could it potentially be a thing that they switch and then they become like Chukwuemeka? What do you say?
For me, I think they will play. as far as Chukwuemeka, he's playing for Dortmund. Even if he's coming from the bench, he will play in the national team because in that area we don't really have options. Shout out to some players that have been playing that position. Now you're having a proper midfielder. It's not as if you're saying that, oh, he's a winger. Oh, he's a left back. Oh, I don't want to mention player I'll be talking about. So it's a winger. He's a number 10. He was playing number 4 during AFCON. No. We're having a proper midfielder now. Now to come and do the job. So I'm happy he's coming with the days of his youth. And secondly, too, what even makes it even more special is that the inspiration of Admiral Lukman. Because they realized Lukman is like they are part of their guys. For this guy to just come and become Ballon d'Or contender,
best player in Africa.
Yes, best player in Africa, a player commanding big transfer fee now. Come on, I think that's even why I even went to Dortmund. Come on, I think I need to leave this English setting and go to a different place to go and prove myself. So that, let me just get out of these shadows of like English team and go and do what I can do best. So for me, I think Lukman is big experience for them. And for Akpom to speak like that, you see that it can be seen. For Lukman to be winning this best player, this thing could be me too. So I think Lukman doing well is a big inspiration, and they will not regret actually switching. Yeah, I think they will have weighed their options together too before they can actually say, I think maybe I just go to Nigeria. It's better.
So overall, when you look at these two players joining the Super Eagles, you think this is a good decision that Eric Chelle is making, and you think that they will be good for us?
If you look at Eric Chelle getting this job, you can see that he's a man that was like licking his lips. I think this is like his dream job, to coach the national team. And you can see that he's enjoying the moment. Look at the AFCON. He was already in his suit and, Nigerian coach. And, you can see that shoulder pad was high, everything was there. He's a guy that, that would have a very strong team. And we also have some strong diaspora contingent that can still come. Don't forget that, we still have some guys that I know that they were part of the initial 40-man list, or so before it cut down, that can still come in and do the job. So he's thinking about, before the AFCON, I'm going to have a strong team that can win this AFCON. So for me, I think that's a very big decision. He played Nigeria during the friendly game and beat Nigeria with how he destroyed the Nigerian midfield. And I want to advise him now. He should go and remove it from his Instagram, or he still post it there that Mali to Nigeria 0, when he destroyed Nigeria during the friendly game. So for me, he saw the team that the midfield is a problem and he's going for his people. So that's it.
Okay, thank you for that insight. Now, to wrap up, because we've gotten people excited talking about these two young players, talking about the potential that they have and the impact that they can make with the national team. The question now is, can the switch be done in time? Because there's a time crunch. Why in February, I believe that, they have maybe like in a month before they will announce the list. Do you think it is possible that they can do all the processing with FIFA and everything, and then they can actually be part of this match squad?
Yeah, Lesley Ugochukwu will be part of the match. I doubt Chukwuemeka, because, and I'll tell you the reason why. Ugochukwu only played for France, so he needs to write a letter. The French FA needs to approve it. The FFA needs to actually approve it. Then send to FIFA. It's going to be done. Similar to Kevin Akuguma's German switch. It won't take long. And because we also have a magic panic, the FIFA Council. So that one, he should be able to do his job out there. But Ugochukwu is different because, he's playing for England. England and this great big thing.
No, you mean Chukwuemeka?
Chukwuemeka is playing for England. He played for England. So you have to, the English FA have to sign it. The Scottish FA have to sign it. The Northern Ireland FA have to sign it. The Welsh FA have to sign it. So when they sign everything together, they will now be able to send to FIFA. And if they are not fast with what they do, they might actually delay slightly. But what I'm hearing is that they've already put in their letter. So since days of like this electronic, fax and everything, I don't think it should be like during the Shola movie time. I think it should be faster this time, right? And because if they actually ready, I think it should be faster.
Okay, that's amazing to hear. Let's hope that they can get these things done in time. I'm sure that Nigerian fans would be excited to watch these players in the national team. And, it will solve a big problem that we've been having. The last question, I know I said I was last one, but I'll ask you another question. When we look at the current crop of midfielders that we have, the Alassane Yusufs, Frank Onyeka, Ndidi, Rafael Onyedika, who is going to be left out of the squad?
You are putting words in my mouth, and I don't want this thing to trend online. But if you have followed this man very well, his coaching philosophy, his time in Mali, what he said when he went to Kenya, you have been following him very well. You will know that who might probably not be part of the team, or if that player is not part of this team, it might not be regular. In the future games, he says something. You must have the legs. You must run. Even if you don't have the ball, you must run. There is no big mising in this national team. If you don't have the ball, you must still run. It's not as if when you don't have the ball, you start clapping. No, it's not. It was not. So I don't want to miss him.
You have to tell us now, who is that player? You have to tell us on this on Nigerian FC podcast. We say it with our chest.
I think the vice captain of the team, if this might be that future, yeah, it might be numbered. Let's see his specific. That's it.
So what of the person that Chukwuemeka is potentially coming to replace, because it's two spots if the both of them get done?
Another player that I think that might not be, I won't say Alassane Yusuf is a regular player, but I think Alassane Yusuf might probably actually want to drop his spot. Some players in the team can play different positions. For example, Alex Iwobi can play the right wing and play the left wing too. So you can also that maybe he's competing with Chukwuemeka. So, but for me, I think Alassane Yusuf, it's not as if the energy level is there, but it's on the skill set sometimes, it's not really top. So for me, I think Frank Onyeka and Asho Onyedika would probably want to retain their spot in that area. Besides the Bashir, they probably want to be part of the team in the nearest future. But for me, I think they will be part of the team now, but I think he's already looking for a replacement for Benedict.
For me, I think, sadly, I would have to agree with you on Alassane Yusuf. When I think of this, if they are bringing these two new players in, I think Alassane Yusuf would almost surely lose his spot, because again, it doesn't help that he's playing in the MLS, whereas if these players actually start, if Chukwuemeka is playing week in, week out in Borussia Dortmund, Lesley Ugochukwu is playing for Southampton, it will be hard for you to argue really for Alassane Yusuf, even if he's doing well in the MLS. The only other thing that I'm thinking is that for the other midfield spots, it is going to be a big decision for anybody to not include Wilfred Ndidi.
Yeah, I know.
It's going to be a big decision. Ndidi is the kind of player that you phase out. You don't just all of a sudden.
Yeah, that's why I said
call him up.
Not now, in the nearest future.
You phase him out. You bring him in. Maybe he's on the bench. Then gradually the writing starts to show on the wall that, okay, we don't need him as much as we used to need him before. But for now, I'm thinking what might be more likely if the both of them get done in time is maybe somebody like Kelechi Iheanacho doesn't get called up, and then they call up somebody else in midfield. Because ordinarily, we always say it's that we call up too many forwards and not enough midfielders. We usually call Alex Iwobi into midfield. So if anything, if you call like a Chukwuemeka in place of Iheanacho, Alex Iwobi takes that forward spot. You don't include him as a midfielder anyways. It's still the same. It's still the same structure of the number of players per position. So for me, that's what I think is maybe more likely. If Ndidi is going to get out of the team, it has to be a gradual process. We'll show him a little bit of respect. He has served us well. He has been the captain. I also think that they might want to take Ndidi to the AFCON, because let him just have his final chance to win a trophy with Nigeria. If you say he's not going to be part of the team again, it will be the final chance.
That's what I want to. I used to say his final chance.
No. I'm talking based on what you said.
Okay.
If he doesn't get caught up again, then it's going to be a final chance for him. I mean, it's going to be interesting to see how Eric Chelle manipulates these teams. It's going to be interesting to see who he calls up. Of course, for everyone that's watching, let us know your thoughts on these two players. Let us know your thoughts on who you think would be replaced if these two players get called up. And of course, ahead of the games in March, we will still bring you more episodes where we'll deep dive into the team. Of course, the squad is going to be announced eventually. We'll talk about the squad. We'll talk about our preference, who we think should have been there, should not have been there, and a lot more content to come. But thank you for watching this quick episode of the Niger FC Podcast Extra with myself, IoT, and of course, my co-host,
Midlife.
See you on the next one, guys. Bye-bye.